Hello, everybody, and welcome back to more Dota action here at BTS Americas 4. We're getting ready to hop into game number 3 of the very first series of BTS Americas. It's Fire Dota going up against the South American squad, the T-Show. We're in game number 3, as I said before, clutch match here. It's going to be myself along with Blaze once again. Blaze, welcome back, my friend. I want to ask you a quick outside question here, since we haven't had much of a chat since the last time we hung out. What was your favorite experience from the Shanghai Major?
Oh boy,
there's a lot to choose
from. So many to pick from.
Yeah.
That is tough. Well, I actually had the fun experience of essentially having like a multi-day major party where I just hung out with friends in a cabin in the mountains and watched the games and drank a lot. So pretty much that whole experience was pretty awesome.
Rustic yet nerdy, wonderful. I love it. A cabin to watch Dota sounds like an awesome thing here. So let's get right into it. Getting our hands dirty. It looks like for the third time straight, Blaze, we're going to be seeing Invoker in the hands of T-Show. It's obviously something they love to prioritize here for Mr. ZS, and I can't really fault him for that. He's looking pretty solid, but you can say the same here for Fire Dota and their priority for the Beastmaster. He picks it up again, third time straight, and my God, Blaze, they are firing through this draft. They took a long time to get the game rolling, but they don't care about the draft. Boom, 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 Death Prophet, Night Stalker, 1-2 right after.
You better believe they care, but they know what's coming, essentially. If they pick up the Invoker and leave those two core heroes in the pool, you know that Fire are going to prioritize them, and they feel that Night Stalker is going to be the best hero to put them in position to win. I mean, they did win with, it was that game, right? Yeah, they did do extremely well with their Night Stalker previously, and I feel like they have a lot of potential with it, yeah. Baga is an experienced Night Stalker player. He plays it probably more than many other supports. He loves to get that early aggression out, and I think that's one thing that DP really needs is some punishment, mostly in the mid lane. Like, if you can go in, cold snap, void, that hero's going to be having a lot of issues, whereas the last laning experience, we mostly just got to see Whitebeard throw a few ether shocks, give her some small advantage, and then from there she just started getting big. So I would love to see a lot more early of an approach to addressing the Death Prophet in the laning phase.
Are you surprised at all? I'm a little. I've raised my brow a little bit at this. Sven hasn't really been touched as much. He's typically pretty good if you need someone to like heavy burst down the Death Prophet and kind of be a good counter push with his great Mighty Cleave and heavy burst damage. There's already a Nature's Prophet taken off the field for you. As we know, that has been pretty much the kryptonite to him as far as Shanghai goes. But, you know, up to this point, T-Show have been very quick to just pick up the Ursa. Do you think it'd be an okay benefit for them to consider other options outside of the Bear, like maybe a Sven or something else?
Yeah, I really like the Warcry factor for Sven. Obviously, the bonus armor and movement speed really makes it harder for Death Prophet to make the most of our exorcism, and you can stay right on her and get some good hits in. So, yeah, I could say it's definitely an option. I wouldn't say it's like, oh, I'm flabbergasted they haven't thought of that. It's definitely a hero that you have to be able to play around well to make it work. You have to get the right stacks out for him to kind of explode in farm. Whereas Ursa goes for Roche, the Sven goes for Ancients, and it's just one of those things where, like, if you can build around that, if you can stack around that, and then you have the right times where you know when to fight with this hero, it can be extremely potent, but I wouldn't say it's like a hero that you have to grab in any of these situations.
We'll see now. We witness our second phase of bans. Darkseer's got to go. Broodmother banned out here from Fire Dota. Might be something that T-Show have picked up in the past, or just something they don't want to have to worry about nonetheless. They get rid of it. You know, I won't be getting to see any of my precious Earth Spirit at all this series, so a tear will be shed. But they get rid of OD, which I've been seeing plenty of, and Shadow Shaman also going out. Lots of respect from game number 2 here coming out from T-Show in this one. We'll have to see what the next best interest is going to be for Fire Dota on this. I believe this is where normally their Whitebeard hero will come into play. You mentioned Miranda last time, and Miranda could be okay, roaming around, arrowing up, pressure on the Invoker. She's got good nighttime vision. I wouldn't mind seeing it.
Yeah, it's not bad. I think that because the Night Stalker has more vision at night, that it's a little less effective, because the best time to fire arrows off is absolutely during nighttime, and the Night Stalker just kind of camping the mid lane can scout it out before it even gets close. So I think that it does limit her a little bit. I wouldn't say it's a bad pick, but I love this approach. Fire just gonna grab the T-Show special before they can get their hands on it.
All right, so now Fire are gonna roll up their sleeves and show what can be done. And this is an Ursa
Level
already
one
on
Roach.
Dire's
Level
side.
one
Yeah,
Roach.
I mean this is the last 2 games. It's been all 3 games. It's been T-Show on Radiant's side, but this time they will not benefit from the Radiant Ursa, which normally isn't looked at as any sort of extra advantage. Normally, he's in home court now, Dire's side. Excited to see what they do out of it. And yeah, level 1 Roche, please, I would love that. That would be a sight to behold here. They certainly have the lineup for it. Plenty of mitigation there, and we'll have to see, though. It's time to think about your support staff, though, Fire Dota. And Whitebeard, he's got his new drafting hat on right now, if you will, making the calls for the team. I'm curious to see if this has been kind of worth it or not. And they go for the Dazzle, what used to be a very familiar face, especially in tandem of the mighty Huskar, but we don't get to see it enough. Not recently there, Blaze, so it's going to be their choice in this one.
Yeah, I would look at actually switching it up if ZS is confident in it. Actually going for a Wexfoker here. EMP could be amazing against some of these heroes. You're going to have to get at least 1 Arcane Boot already, probably 2, for the continuous push with Beastmaster, Dazzle, Death Prophet. So if you go EMP, you're going to make it very difficult for them to go for any real sustained push. I actually think that Tornado EMP is definitely the way to go because, your Dazzle's already going to be in the 5 position. He's not going to get that much farm, and he's going to be most likely killed off a couple times by the Night Stalker. So you take away his mana, you take away everything that he can bring to the table, and I think that's how you win kind of those close quarters confrontations. So I like that idea. I think that creates a lot of value, and maybe you even get some Orca ganks on him. But no matter what, I think that he'll probably go for his tried and true comfort of the Exhort, but in this case, I think mana is a very key resource to examine for Fire.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't put it past him. I could see him also just kind of doing the convert, but you're right. Maybe he's a stubborn player. I'm not too sure. We'll have to see.
No, I like all the time. I look at those alternatives, and more like 9 times out of 10, the player's just gonna go with what they feel good about. And right now, Exhort is all the rage. I mean, it's versatile. It has all these different timings that you can hit.
Looks cool. I mean, Sunstrikes are pretty hip. I mean, you can't really fault it too much. But we'll get to find out nonetheless. I wouldn't mind something a bit different here from T-Show. What is usually the best go-tos, though, when you're going to get something like an Ursa? I want to say something keeping distance, like a Drow Ranger. You get the benefit with Witch Doctor Invoker already. Keeping space. No, Slark, someone else who actually favors a good man matchup and can come out on top here. Thoughts on the Slark grab there, Blaze?
It definitely gives them the late game. Right now, Slark has no trouble dealing with things like Primal Roar and Exorcism if he times his abilities well. Can get right up in the Ursa's face, too.
10 seconds remaining.
Ursa could still win an extended fight with him, but
5
let's say they
remaining.
control the Ursa, they limit his impact. Slark can just get on top of the Dazzle, kill him off with the Shadow Blade, move on to the next guy, Dark Pact off a Roar. Like, these are all ideals, but they're very likely to happen at least once in the game. And if that's the case, then you can feel pretty good especially for USL the Slark. So it's going to be night vision thing as well. The fact is you're going to have nighttime vision more frequently, and while the Night Stalker gives great night vision, Slark has it as well. And so it just feels like half the game, and even more than half the game, is going to be very favorable vision wise. They really want to make it so the Hawk doesn't get to see much, and that Night Stalker and Slark can.
I mean, the only thing that would make it more map controlling for them is if they just round out this lineup with something like a Bat Rider, let's say, and really want to control everything. Faceless Void is normally a pretty common thing to see. Has also been a bit neglected, at least in this series for now. We'll get the ban nod there from Fire in the last one. T-Show need to consider what possible 4-position options are out there still for Fire. Tusk is going to get removed. We'll have to see what other big ones are still available here. I don't know if they need something necessary as like maybe a Bane, let's
Disruptor.
say. Disruptor. Oh, Disruptor could be nice.
I think Disruptor would be huge. And
way
so
to kind
definitely the Whitebeard special. Like, that's what the guy is known for.
Oh, of course.
I think the guarantee of canceling out Witch Doctor, even if he has a Glimmer Cape, the being able to cage the Slark and limit his skill usage, I just love Disruptor here.
We'll see if it's
But if they're
something
going for
you
push,
consider.
no, even with push, Glimpse is a great ability because you can't TP to defend that tower directly. But they go a different route. They're going to go for the Screen Protector. It is an ability that can be dispelled very easily by Dark Pact, the Overgrowth. But still, just having the ability to Living Armor a target that's having to fight in heavy confrontations. I'm talking about the Death Prophet mostly. Let's say Invoker Night Stalker goes hard on TP. Dazzle doesn't have the TP or doesn't have the time. That Living Armor could absolutely make the difference. And obviously, there's no hard dedicated push from T-Show right now. It's going to be kind of whittling it down and only pushing effectively after a team fight.
Do you suppose we're going to just see him snag at one of the mighty little talons there and take it to the jungle and find some solo XP that way? Or is it necessary for him to kind of, bully back this potential off-lane grab?
No, I think the talon's the way to go here for sure. Yeah. I think that you just obviously get a lot of value out of it. This hero does have a lot of base damage, so the Quelling Blade helps it out a lot. And it's going to be a support Zeus. So you were talking about the Bat Rider, and I thought you were actually going to mention the Zeus. But yeah, the Vision game is really what they're playing right now. And obviously, being able to burst heroes down even more effectively, this is going to be Tavo playing on that Zeus. So it should get a little interesting seeing what he can accomplish on that hero.
Yeah, it's, Zeus outside of mid lane always can be a bit skeptic by some, but to see really what they're going to be able to get out of it. But if the formula is right, it certainly could be worth it here for T-Show. Fire now going to be picking up the Ursa for themselves. We'll see the third repeat here of the Demon Beastmaster and a support staff, which is all about being the paramedics here. Not a lot as far as the lockdown goes, but they are looking for heavy sustain. Will it be enough as we hop into game number 3 here for our first series of BTS Americas 4? T-Show taking game number 1, looking to round things out and pull out a bit of an upset, while Fire Dota, who's got their brand new roster right now, are hoping to kind of, create a new life for themselves. Is it going to be Demon's last stand? Who knows? We'll have to see here. As he gets the nice early ward down Blaze, he'll be able to get the extra vision. He pulls back, while T-Show make their move towards the upper rune.
Yeah. We're going to be seeing ZS go for the Cold Snap early, so could actually be considering that EMP, the Wex Foker route, and that could be actually quite effective. But beyond that, the Death Prophet is going to have a good time in lane for the early part of it. Like the first few last hits, her damage got nerfed a little bit with like her Crypt Swarm, her base damage, but Invoker was nerfed much harder in terms of base damage. So she's going to be able to out CS the first couple of waves. And yeah, we'll see how that turns, how actively we see Baga supporting the mid lane. But it is definitely going to be some action where the Death Prophet is a threat to be addressed.
What about this ward in bottom lane that they continue to ping out here? What is with this? That is a pretty far back lane ward. Not something we usually see from your Radiant side ward in lane. It's going to be a bit peculiar here. We'll see what benefit's going to be coming from it.
The battle begins.
It looks like once again from the Beastmaster.
Yeah, it's definitely not something you'll often see. The Slark actually placed it out, so maybe it's an experience thing, but usually, obviously, your classic wards will be here, and Demon has started with Essential Ward every time, so maybe he's just trying to make sure that that ward sticks, but more often you'll just like put it, if you really want it to stick, place it to the east, from behind the tree line where they can't even see you place it.
Very peculiar. Well, mid lane, it's going to be, this time, T-Show, who kind of get the early aggression onto the mid lane counterpart here. Last time we saw ZS being pressured, and now here comes the Night Stalker leading in early. Soul Siphon does come out, and so does the Whitebeard. Out from the trees comes the Mighty Tree himself, leads in with the early lead seed, and you do not want to get into a boxing match with that guy. My God, 85 base damage at the start with an Iron Talon. He will punch you straight to the ground. So he takes his business back into the jungle, and I wager that's pretty much going to be his appearance for, like, I don't know, the first, 8 minutes of the game, Blaze? Something like that. Just in and out of the jungle, maybe making a cameo in the lane, but mostly going to work. But, hey, Night Stalker, I guess, knows this, and is going to be a pain in the ass, if you will.
Well, they definitely saw the Iron Talon, but even still, Trian's probably got the better exchange as you just choose through tangos here. Night Stalker actually doesn't have any extra regen, just the natural base regen, so he'll leech the experience, but as far as directly contesting it, the Void last hits are probably pretty close right now to the Trian's improved right click, but still, just the fact that Night Stalker was present and started making it harder for the Death Prophet to take advantage of her early base damage, I think that's important for the Invoker to start getting his early CS, and more importantly, preventing denies from the DP.
So we'll see this skirmish fold out. It's a chapter in itself with this jungle battle happening here. This does allow the Invoker to kind of loosen up a bit, not having to worry about the interception from that tree and begin to go to work on Dragon Fist. He seems to kind of always get the better edge unless he is bullied back. Speaking of getting bullied out right now, Fluff makes his own rotation. He has a level into Poison Touch here. The stop for the rune is going to create the space, and enough range will come out. They get the slow. Uphill miss. Can't get the targeting for the leech seed. They'll be able to make it away from any sort of trouble, and they'll have to pull out.
All right, so early on, Blades of Attack coming out from the Invoker here, and that's going to be allowing him to go for the early phase. He is going for Wex. He is mostly just trying to max out his damage, but I don't know about Cat's movement here in the early game. Both casks that I've seen from him have been pretty fruitless. That one doing almost nothing to Death Prop, and the early one just killing off a boar against the Beastmaster. So the Witch Doctor hasn't really done too much. The Night Stalker at least has been slowing Whitebeard's progression, and obviously the Wexvoker takes a little bit to really come online. He'll poke, he'll Cold Snap, he'll prod, but in the end the DP's got her bottle, and she'll be able to juice up from the 4-minute rune spawn.
And again, we'll see the cat and mouse here between both Night Stalker and Trees. Tree makes his work. You come, I'll hit you, and then I'll go back to work hitting this neutral camp. So he's just going to leech from the low ground, it would appear. Still got a full minute before the rune comes up and has to worry about any sort of trouble. Let's touch base with this bottom lane here. Second is CS Slark at 20-3. Demon working with what he's got, 8-1 for him. But back at mid, oh, what's this? Night Stalker gets caught out with a leech seed here. But thankfully, he still has those boots, and he'll be able to make it away from any sort of chase. It does make it a bit difficult. Some trees I even see commit early for the boots first, and then later put together the Talon just so that they can benefit from the slow of the leech seed and the boots getting those extra right clicks in. It could be the difference of one mighty punch to have a kill get away.
Yeah, obviously with the amount of involvement that he's been forced into, you would kind of want that. But at the same time, if he didn't have the Iron Talon, there's no way the Night Stalker would have been playing the same way. So, not the value created. Fluff actually goes for the Iron Branch plus Tango to get the extra regen. But, I mean, the big thing here is just Zeus getting the early Arcane boots. Offlane Zeus getting level 4. It's pretty on point, par with the Beastmaster's experience progression. Actually, he's about 200 experience ahead of Jimmy. And, of course, he's got those Arcanes. So, not too shabby for Tavo.
Well, that's a great start, actually. Zeus is going to really be a problem with this heavy burst potential DPS in the mid game. And I guess just the Dazzle alone not obviously going to be able to do a whole lot to stop him from getting what he needs, especially if he had a lot of early regen here. So it'll be all good and fun. And this Night Stalker continuing to kind of be in the dark. It's unknown what's happening here, but it's going on mid lane right now. Dragon Fist, nice Cold Snap, nice EMP. The Void's going to be coming in. The right clicks, though, not going to be enough. 180 now as Night Stalker heads out. The TP's going to be canceled, and Tavo says, let's keep making a move here. Steps in with a lightning bolt, but that's all he's going to be able to get off, and he'll have to take his business, it looks like, back up north towards that off lane.
So obviously, we'll have to talk about this sooner or later. But the synergy between Slark and Zeus is pretty apparent. Whenever the Slark doesn't have the benefit of his ultimate, the Shadow Dance passive, he knows that there are wards nearby, and the Zeus can punish that with Lightning Bolt. Actually, going to be seeing some damage coming onto the Beastmaster now, but the Slark actually pounds himself into the tree line and has to quell his way out. That should have been I think a clear kill. Like, I mean, maybe there's some insane juke that comes out with the Tangos in the Quelling Blade that gets him to buy a TP scroll, but I mean that was a lot of damage coming out, and then the pounce just completely whiffs.
He's able to make it away from trouble here. He's going to be feeding over a couple of boars, it looks like, to the Slark, but with that, he's able to kind of etch his way from trouble here, and to kind of go back a page and talk more about the vision advantage that you'd feel T-Show's going to be able to get between the Slark and the Zeus. I guess it's still nice in the end that at least they have a Hawk to work with, but then you talk about Night Stalker. It's just ridiculous how much real map control they're going to be having this game. And I'm very curious for Fire on how they're going to be able to deal with it or find their own response. I mean, what would you do? Do you consider more of a 5-man kind of style here at some point to just be able to kind of be together in a posse?
Yeah, first, every Roshan, you just group up, you get the Aegis first, and then you do something with it, is the bottom line. And it's just going to be a Rosh and then 2 objectives, a Rosh and then 2 objectives. And they'll do that, kind of just keep a bit of just a momentum behind them. They'll have the ability to continue to control the map while the Slark is still trying to get farm. You can't really go for an Aghanim Scepter on the tree, unfortunately. Tornado's going to connect, but DP is coming in. I think Beastmaster should be okay.
Yep, and even a living armor coming in from Whitebeard. Only has it at level 2, but obviously going to be a futile effort there for T-Show on walking away with any sort of blood. Speaking of blood here, going on 7 minutes with first blood yet to be shed. A lot of respect coming out from both teams here in Game 3 of a single elimination. You can't really fault them for that. Not looking to do too many risks here without a good reward as a follow-up. And Patient farm continues here for Slark at 51-7. He also holds top net worth here, but below him, all belonging, of course, to Fire here. So would you feel like it's been more of an early laning success here for Fire over T-Show, even with, Night Stalker trying to be a bit of a nuisance, and they do have Tavo, who's gotten a lot of farm on his Zeus.
Yeah, I'd say overall, the fact is the Slark Witch Doctor hasn't really been able to punish the Beastmaster sufficiently. He has, since I talked about it, pulled ahead significantly on experience compared to the Zeus. So while they both have level 6, Beastmaster's got a little bit more movement towards what seems to be his favorite build of just maxing the Boar and the Aura. This Night Stalker's going to try for something again in mid, but I'm not sure. Wow.
Yeah, that was 3 pretty much exact simultaneous TPs there, and a good Triforce, and immediately Night Stalker says, oh my god, I've walked right into the Illuminati. I got to get the hell out of here. Walking back out, Soul Siphons are there, and he's like, I can't make it to Brothers! He is down, and now as Daytime pops out, Whitebeard now looking to walk away. The Slark wants some damage. He wants some revenge. Can he get it? Nice Shallow Grave save is going to prevent him from going down to the Zeus ulti. Can he get denied from No Roche? He cannot. Slark will pick up that one as well. A double kill for him, and they're going to be taking a whole lot more on top of it there, Blaze. It's going to be 4 all day. C4T with a double. Slark with a double. Oh, what a boost for T-Show.
Yeah, unfortunately the Night Stalker didn't get to take part in that because he's still level 2. Everybody's level 4 and above. This Night Stalker's level 2. He first to die and didn't get a single chunk of that big experience swing. I mean, that was 17, almost 1,800 experience going the way of T-Show after that engagement. But big things there would be the cask bouncing for its maximum potential, and then the Thunder God's Wrath, of course, bringing down the Dazzle before he could heal. If Fluff got a little bit more healing out there, then maybe they could have taken the full fight, but now Fire just get absolutely destroyed, and what starts with First Blood turns into a 4-for-1. So T-Show pretty happy about that for their first major exchange, and I think that we're going to be seeing some Midas action. Maybe or maybe not from the Invoker, but definitely from the Night Stalker. And they're going to be, well, they won't be able to push towers very well. Like they're only going to get 1 or 2 towers in the first half of this game because of that living armor. They're still going to be able to find their experience despite the lack of map control.
Does feel like T-Show know that they have time on their side. He actually catches the tornado onto Fluff. Not enough time to be able to respond to it. Cold Snap, living armor, it keeps him alive. He's got the grave, he's good. Will Slark pay with his life here? And he will.
Yeah.
Oh man, we haven't seen much from Ursa all game. He suddenly shows himself, gets his hands dirty, and says, I want more. Goes right into the Roche pit and says, I'm going to take it out on you. They're looking to acquire quick ages.
I'm really not sure what Slark was thinking in there. QLS, I mean, he has had some hit and miss plays. A couple of them have been very effective and game-defining, but that one was just absolutely not what he needed to accomplish. Now going to give the free Roshan over to Fire, and yeah, that's going to be an Ursa with the Aegis moving forward. Haste Rune going to be denied, it looks like, but no, he'll grab it, but Exorcism needs to do some work.
And he has no mana to follow it up with enough to get off the Soul Siphon. And the Demon setting up a Roar. It certainly will make it all the easier. Tavo now, the next target, it looks like here for Fire. They're right-clicking him down with the help of that haste. He's got to do something. Turns back. Storm, Cryptic Swarm comes out, and he is down. Big twofer picked up for Fire. Very necessary after what was a bit of a debacle in the last fight. They're graced with the Slark takedown, and they followed up with a couple more.
It's funny, I actually thought the Exorcism might not even contribute much there because of the haste rune. It makes it so that the spirits that are out have to catch up to where the Death Prophet is. They're not really bound to her directly. And so that was actually pretty interesting. But we do see them getting the better of it. Now EMP coming out on mid. That's going to be some good damage, but not enough to seal the deal as far as I can tell. And in the meantime, okay, Thunder God's Wrath will do that last little bit. And of course, in the meantime, Slark forced out with the Shadow Dance use once again.
Good grab for them, and that puts Tavo that much closer to their lens. He actually's got it done. Dropped out the boots, make the split happen, and take his business now to the bottom lane. Demon on the other side with about 10 seconds to go before his Primal Roar. He's going to be up and at the ready, and it looks like he'll join his team towards the mid lane where there is potential for a skirmish right now. Justin under the gun right now. There's going to be a coconut. No bounce. Good spread there from Fluff. And they're not looking to let this tower go down easy. Obviously, we have a tree in the game, so he is going to heal up these towers as fast as he can. He's got 3 levels, but I don't know. Do you go right for the ulti here at level 6 still on the tree, or do you put more in trying to just skip over that?
He's got Arcane Boots, so I'd say yes. He's pretty much like difference between level 1 Leech Seed compared to level 2. versus having an extra spell. The Overgrowth definitely creates a lot of value, so I would definitely go for it, as long as he has the mana to support it, which he does. But yeah, I think that T-Show are kind of desperate right now to get an early tower. Their team lineup isn't that great at push, and they knew that going into the draft, but if they can just take a couple of tier 1s, that's going to at least garner them some momentum.
Oh, huge damage. Another ult committed. It's this one coming out from C4T. They'll get the finish on the Dragon Fist. And now T-Show looking to make their move back on this tower. But since they were last here, the tower was almost dead. Now it's up to half of its life. And they're going to be forced to really commit hard in for it. But they're the benefit. A tower that has not received a whole lot of love is this top one. And it looks like it will be snagged up. Oh, well, Slark not going to be getting the last hit on it. But still, a nice little economy boost across the board here for T-Show.
And I really like the way Baga's playing as Night Stalker, because you noticed that I was talking about him just a few minutes ago being level 2. And that's... Some people flame that. Some people consider like, oh, you're sacrificing way too much. You're not getting anything for yourself. Do some pulse or whatever. But that's not what Night Stalker's about. He's about putting pressure on the lanes. He's about really kind of creating tension, creating these conflict where he can prevail. And so in that, oh, it looks like Invoker might be in some trouble though if they get the Rober for the Ghost Walk, and they do.
He's down for sure. He's been hanging around that bottom lane a bit. It looked like he might have been thinking about pulling out from the lane, but he hangs around long enough for Demon to scout him out and for reinforcements to come on in. And we'll cost Invoker a bit of pretty punny. Oh, but they catch Whitebeard as he's out spamming the lane. He's going to be forced to TP away. Oh, he fakes out the ult. He knows it might not be enough. Lets him go.
Yeah. Good grave there, I guess, just to make sure. But now it's going to give vision, at least, of Whitebeard. And he won't be able to get as good of an overgrowth off as a result of it. Just kind of poking and prodding, scaring the Slark. But there's two other heroes here, and they're going to drop the sentry under tower. No way that Treant walks into that, but... right?
Okay.
Radiant structures are
3 down. Mid lane, though. Fire looking for their own response. It looks like they made their move for Tavo here. Going to be silenced up, siphoned down, and slashed apart. ZS will re-engage right now, thinking about getting some good damage here onto Justin. That Earn forces him back. Doesn't want to lose the Aegis quite yet. Slark's back, pounces in, makes his move for Dragon Fist. He eats another Death Ward. He will indeed be dead. And here comes Slark. Hoping maybe to grab on a support. Yes, he will commit in with that blink. Gets a few pokes, gets a pounce, gets a kill. Dazzle's going to be down, unable to kind of get anything off. Didn't quite have the mana. 2 stick charges not going to be enough. With Arcanes on cooldown, he's stuck in a bit of a rut. And with some lag, we are going to head into a bit of a pause. But back and forth we go, Blaze. Now T-Show pulling a couple their way. Makes their score 9-6 as they try to also get a tier 1.
Yeah, that shouldn't have been that hard of a fight for them, but the problem was with the Treant getting picked off like that. It was actually nothing to do with detection. It just came down to the fact that Fluff didn't refresh his Nature's Guise in time. He didn't keep track of the buff, and it was expiring right then. So during the fade time, he actually got killed off, and that's quite unfortunate. So definitely not a kill that should have happened up top, and it turns into a couple of kills favoring T-Show once again in mid. So they will take this tier 1 tower, and I can't stress how precious these early towers are for T-Show. They don't have the wherewithal to push this stuff easily, so they always... And being able to take a fight against an Aegis and take a tower on the back of that, like, that's massive for T-Show, kind of getting to where their game plan is strongest.
Is it in any interest right now for Fire to try to maybe come together quickly for a defense or make something out of this Aegis while they still got it? I mean, I guess my answer will, well, I was going to say possibly come soon, but it looks like...
I mean, it almost feels suicidal. I mean, obviously, it depends on how the fight gets executed, but it feels like in this position, since Invoker has his spells, like, you try to contest, it doesn't work out, and you probably just were better off farming. So I would feel the Ursa's just probably going to go Ancients or something.
Alright. We'll have to see here. It looks like our pause will continue quite a bit as T-Show will look to make their move on the mid lane. Do want to remind everybody this will not be our final series of the day. I'll give you a brief glimpse at the bracket for anyone who's just showing up now. I mean, I can't even tell if Dota Pit's actually still happening or not at the moment, but this is Fire versus T-Show way at the top of the bracket right there, and then we're going to be heading into the next match, which is just right below it. Animal Kingdom versus Evernova. These are 2 American teams that are going to be going toe-to-toe. I believe Animal Kingdom has some bits and residuals of Team Leviathan, so it should be a good one. We head back, though, into the frickin' game as the pause is underway. And it will indeed be T-Show taking down this tier 1. We'll have to work through a glyph for it. But Demon will make the best of this bottom lane. But Don't hang around too long because Tavo showed up and he blasts him down. 1, 2, needs a little bit more. And I don't think he's going to get close enough, but Demon, okay. Demon, be careful, please.
Jimmy?
Demon,
Jimmy?
Demon, what? No! That's not the classic Jimmy I was hoping to get excited over in this series. Nonetheless, we still get it. Top lane, though, they make their move for Whitebeard. Set up with a tornado, a pounce, an EMP, and oh, man. Bad to worse here for Team Fire.
I don't know, man. These deaths should not be happening. The Beastmaster even more clearly than the 2 Treant deaths, and this is just giving free space for T-Show.
And with that space, they go right to work. ZS top lane, happy to start poking his way for this tier 2 as Slark even cuts out the next wave entirely. Here comes Justin, though. Maybe one of the lone hopes for him. He's not going to be able to get the catch on one as the TP's going to be there, and chasing Slark feels way too ambitious at the moment. So they'll let him slide, but it's Fire now forced to kind of run across the map. T-Show are just kind of, well, putting on their own show at the moment and making the most out of it. Bottom lane, Witch Doctor will try to build towards maybe a second level of his Death Ward. Nonetheless, it's on Fire now to kind of make their own response and salvage this.
Yeah, they have to do something because, I mean, you look at it, they're now going to be 2 Midases out on T-Show, where before it was like they could probably only afford to go 1. Well, they just got a free influx of gold that they normally wouldn't have, and they're going to make the most of it. The Invoker will have a hand of Midas, will be greatly improving his experience for a minute, and that's going to be allowing him and Nightstalker to move in towards those mid to late game items very, very quickly. So it's all on Fire to make the next 2 or 3 fights happen flawlessly, to push down towers. And in the meantime, of course, get that global living armor to prevent any flip push rat plays on the side lanes.
They still have a lore to work with here, so they tried to smoke and find an opportunity while the rest of their team makes their push on the tier 1. They're not done there, though. Exorcism comes out, and they are going to make their move right now for this tier 2. Zoning back EMP relieves the pressure a bit, but then the follow-up will be there from Justin. While this is happening, there is split pressure on the bottom lane where Slark and Witch Doctor are going to work. Whitebeard pulls out the overgrowth here. A nice 3-man catch with the silence could force him back. Follow-up Primal Roar, but it's a bit one after the other and after the other, and they're not going to be doing anything too offensive with those ultis. They will lose Whitebeard, it looks like. Demon, nope. Nowhere to hide in these trees. No TP, and he gets scouted. He gets down. That's going to be 2 drop from the side of Fire, while T-Show get a couple of kills and even get that tier 2. And Slark gets a catch on for Fluff. Fluff's able to get the grave off just in time, but he just starts clunking him down right now, and that's not going to be enough. And he'll get the follow-up kill on taking out Justin. Oh, it is a downworld spiral coming out from Fire.
Oh, that is, I mean, that's painful to watch. Like, that's just so disastrous. Nothing is going the way the Fire intended to, and it's just going from bad to worse. I mean, they lost a tier 2 tower while losing heroes. That Slurk comes in with a clean and easy flank. This is not even a Shadowblade Slurk ganking them up. He just blinks in, goes for the target, not only fights through a grave to kill off the Dazzle, but then gets the 1 position core on the other side of it. I really just don't know what's in Fire's heads right now, and they lose another tier 2 tower on the back of that. It's just so difficult at this point in the game to come back from a team that is stronger than them in terms of vision, in terms of map control, and now in terms of towers, despite the Treant Protector. We will see the Slark picked up a little bit here with the Roar, and it will be enough to burst him down. It's a lot of money going to the Beastmaster, but will the Necro 3 be enough to make up for everything that's happened so far?
T-Show also haven't been afraid to show a couple of weaknesses here and there, and I can't help but notice a pattern of their core player here being very aggressive at all times, not kind of, taking a moment to scout out his whereabouts. His team had pieced out from that mid lane long ago, way past it in the jungle, but he wanted to lurk around an extra bit and maybe underestimated the catching potential there from Fire, especially when they had the Primal Roll ready to go. So he will hand over a fair amount of change here to Team Fire right now. I mean, it's just, step 1 of a 6-step program for now for Fire, but we'll have to see if they can continue to string it together. It is Game 3. They need to make it work here and now. There's no second chances in BTS Americas, and Whitebeard is looking for the easy setup for C4T. He's pump faking it. There's the lead seed. He still doesn't know quite what's happening here. He even commits the coconut onto the creep wave right now. Means he won't have it for this. And now that means that Fluff will step in, but he's got a Death Ward. Tries to go for a facial on the Fluff. Not going to be happening. It's a quick grave, and they get the quick finish. Witch Doctor down. Here comes Team Fire.
You can see that they're on edge, though. Even with a very simple to execute jump from Invis, they are very wary of just problems. The fact that Fluff graves himself at half HP with this heal up. They're just so uncertain about what's lurking. We're going to be seeing a mech come out sooner rather than later from Whitebeard, but I feel like with the fact that there's now an Aghanims on a Night Stalker, who pretty much was just creating space for lanes the first 10 minutes of the game, now suddenly has an Ags and is now potentially just going to break the smoke without them losing anything.
Here they hustle mid lane. Oh, they pop Demon Smoke. Tavo moves right in. He'll get the roar. Siphon's there, and their Zeus is going to be out. A lot of them do lose a lot of blue bar. EMP, Fluff is dead and alone. Silenced up. Looks like they'll be able to make it out. They got Living Armor healthy, and oh, Slark swing and a miss. Not going to be able to get a catch on Dazzle, and now Demon shows himself, and they make their move for him instead. Look at that. Sweeping in from behind. It's going to be Fire who go for the backliners, and they are able to isolate now the Slark and force him down south and away. That was manipulated pretty nicely from Fire on that. And they're still considering going for the Slark, but he's like, I'll cut the wave instead while Fire makes their move for the tier 2.
Yeah, it was a bit of a slow reaction time from the Zeus, but he just gets absolutely crushed. They broke the smoke, had the Aghanims vision, and then he just goes right in anyways and gets absolutely slaughtered, which costs them the subsequent fight, the subsequent tower, and perhaps the Roshan. I actually think that that's definitely a viable objective here for Fire, and yeah, they're going to take advantage of it.
Fire making the absolute most out of what started as a very dramatic turn. Now look at this. I mean, net worth seems pretty damn spread. I mean, yes, the Slark pretty damn far away above everyone else, but then you got the Ursa back and forth, back and forth. They managed to bring this game pretty close to near even. I say that as I look at the net worth, still pretty heavy in their favor. But hey, look at that. They get a Roche, they get an Aegis, and will they be able to make it away with their life, though? Nice jump in from Justin. Follow Overgrowth. Do they have the lockdown, but do they have the damage? Do they have the finish? They're going for it. Crypt Swarm, Soul Siphon, but now comes the Death Ward, and it's not going to be enough. They're going to get the finish. 3 drop. It could be 4. And now it might be a 5-man wipe. They even get the Aegis here. Oh, thirsty for blood. Fire not going to get it, and they lose all 5 and get nobody for it. It looks like T-Show coming into this series as underdogs could be walking away with a win.
Absolutely, just going hard and picking them apart. Fire just weren't ready for an engagement of that magnitude. Thought they could get a quick pick from the Invoker, but Wex Invoker has great defensive abilities and used them to the effect of keeping himself alive. They chase, they die, they lose their barracks. As we now see, there's just not enough respawns coming at a time to keep all this alive here. The Living Armor evaporates instantly, and suddenly the melee racks is gone. Looks like the range racks will fall with it, and they're fighting just from a very significant disadvantage at this point. Looks like the range racks actually may survive, and that's a really big deal because he can Living Armor that.
Yep.
Whitebeard can bring this back up despite the lack of natural regen. This range racks should survive for a significant time.
I don't know if it was T-Show pulling off a bit early. You know, you're game 3, about to take a big win here. You don't want to overextend. We've seen that before already, and maybe they just pulled out a bit too soon where they could have had a huge advantage. But nonetheless, still taking down the melee racks. The tier 3 is still a big win, a big boost in farm. What was starting to turn back the way of Fire has gone back and then some now. What we once had an Ags on a Night Stalker, he now has a Vlad to put it together with. We're looking at the Zeus, who's got his Veil ready to go. Invoker, probably well underway to kind of finishing out his next big item, whether it be the Aghanims or not. We'll have to see. And
now here's one big thing that I've been keeping tabs on here. Whitebeard has actually been building up a mechanism, but not in the traditional sense. Actually going to be roaring the Slark, just going in solo, trying to burn all his mana. He does burn all the mana with the Necro. He's popping the drum, trying to get out of sight. If he gets out of sight, he can get the blink. But for now, at least, he's being just completely run down, and that should be the death of the Slark just from a really great mana burn play from Jimmy. That's going to be another nice bounty. Like, just look at the fight recap, and look how valuable the Slark is at this stage in the game. Like, that's 1,700 gold from 1 kill. 870 to the Death Prophet herself. Like, that's suddenly another item for her. And it looks like it's going to be the BKB very soon. So, really, really important to find those kills like that. And obviously, it's just a bit of an error on the Slark's part, thinking that his night vision gives him strength, but when you're going up against Invis, it's a little hard to rely on your own 2 eyes.
It's 2 times now what feels like in the past 5 minutes I've been seeing it like that. You really got to play this game cautiously. I mean, you might have felt like you've really taken the wind out of Team Fire here, but they are showing that they are never say die at this point. Man, Justin eats just a wealth of damage right there. It's going to be forced to pop out the ulti. It is a low cooldown, and it does not even look like T-Show are going to be going for a round 2 in this bottom lane, but yeah, Fire not a team also that want to kind of lack respect for the amount of damage output that could come out from T-Show here. We could go back into a bit of an almost stalemate, I want to say. Back to, making up for the farm, and maybe the next Roche will be our next conflicting point. But it's an important time for Fire if they want to still stay alive.
Yeah. Now, one thing I was going to talk about for Whitebeard here is he's actually been in the shop had 3 recipes: buckler, headdress, and mechanism. He was not buying these piece-by-piece components that you usually see. A little buckler sitting on the hero, headdress as well. He didn't want to reveal what he was going for and how close he was to it. So he gradually builds up this mechanism. I think the plan was to smoke and Nature's Guys his way into a fight where they underestimate their health. The mech comes out after Thunder God's Wrath, and suddenly they take an engagement. I really admire ideas like that, but in the end, I think he has shown it at this point. So T-Show should be aware just how tanky Fire are, and when they go for the smoke, they hopefully will go for the kills.
I mean, would it also been something to consider? A pipe this game also feels like something that could do a bit of a benefit to Fire. Well, I don't know if it's something he can build up into utility after or not, but nonetheless, we see a smoke move come out from T-Show here. Oh, and it's going to be onto Demon, silenced up, bursted down before any sort of roar could come out, but they got the living armor, they got the grave. He'll be good. Can he get the roar off? No, a coconut bounces back between him and the Necrobook. He still gets the roar off. It's only going to be on to C4T, and the rest of Fire obviously have already hightailed it out of there. And with the one man down, Demon, actually Fluff as well, out for over 30 to 40 seconds. Let's see what T-Show can do to kind of get some work done on this top lane.
Yeah, you gotta also remember there's an Aghanim Scepter up on the Witch Doctor, very recently picked up, but that ultimate now has a lot less that can disable it, and that means that the Death Ward should, at the very least, be able to zone enemies away from the tower. But now that you get the Slark Pounce, we're gonna be seeing them going hard right next to the fountain, in fact.
Oh my goodness. Just starts chomping away here onto Dragon Fist, who's forced to quickly pull out the Exorcism and the BKB. And T-Show are like, that's fine, use it. We'll step back, we'll wait for it to go down. Now, Fire will be able to get Demon back. He still needs 29 seconds to make the most. T-Show do you think they should just get right back into it? Or it looks like they could end up pulling back, farming it up a bit. And
they have the Lake man. They have so much potential. They just got a Moonshot on the Slark. He can farm very quickly, sitting on 42 stolen agility, which he'll take to the jungle as well. So this guy's going to be rapidly cleaning up farm. They're going to continue to use the Aghanim Gem and the Slark Zeus to continue to break every ward that Fire places. And when you can't feel safe farming, and it's ever nighttime or in darkness, it's just impossible for Fire to be as efficient or anywhere near the same level of farm as T-Show are bringing out. As long as T-Show avoid dying, that's their only way they can lose this game, is if they just feed all their comeback gold back the other way. They don't have to worry about actually being out-carried.
We'll see if Slark is feeling generous this game or not. For now, though, he's got his Moonshot ready to go, and already 2 cake gold saved up on top of that. Look at that. Nice little haste rune. Let's see how frisky he's going to be feeling now. Will he make the high ground jump? He will. He goes right for Justin here. Justin wants to go man mode. Pops his BKB, gets the living armor help, and decides to make a hasty retreat. He sees how fast he's attacking. 25, 26, 27, 28, near 30 agility, but now he might have gone a bit too far. Is he feeling generous? Well, he's able to make him way barely out from this one. Butterfingers as he goes up north and away from trouble, but Demon almost caught back from behind. Is this a potential new setup here for T-Show? They're thinking about it. Slark jumps back in. He wants Fluff. Fluff's got to probably go for the early grave here. Gets it off now. Goes right for the TP, but the coconut comes out. And now C4T will dish out a huge death ward. Brings everyone low. Not enough to kill him. Roar back. They want the Slark. Are they going to be able to get him down? They can. They get him. Man, he overextended. He wanted it so bad, and now his team could suffer for it. Night Stalker now siphoned up, earned down. He's done for. Justin could be next, eating a lot of damage, forced to step back. The gem, he's going to get it. He can't grab it. Turns back, gets off some axes, and Demon will go down instead. Oh, what a hot mess of a fight happening here. They still want to make it go, even without the Slark. So Justin jumps in, pops out the ulti, just savagely rips right through Witch Doctor. He wants Tavo too. And with the help of a Crypt Swarm and a Silence, he will be able to get it. Blaze, how generous has T-Show been at this point? It looks like Fire could quickly be right back in this.
Absolutely. I mean, right back in this is still an extreme stretch. This is a Slark. This is one of the best late game carries in the game, and they just don't have the wherewithal to deal with them. No ground target disables. The fact that the Ursa doesn't match up well enough against him. It's just... they have been generous. They have been providing a lot of income for Fire. You're going to be seeing the graph swing dramatically. I still feel strategically that Fire will be behind the rest of this game, no matter how many times that happens. But they have their opening. And let's say they kill the Slark and he doesn't have buyback. They kill the Slark, he buys back, and they kill him again. Then yes, that's going to be the game. But it really comes down to minimizing mistakes for T-Show. They still have this. They just have to take a deep breath, make sure they play smart, they play calm, cool, collected, and they avoid these mistakes.
Take a moment to look at Dragon Fist here for Death Prophet, who's now sporting about 3K worth of gold here, Blaze. Is it in his best interest to build up some more durability and just more survivability for this going into like a Shiva's? Or he's got a point booster now, so this could be alluding to possibly an Octarine. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he's going to go for the Octarine here. I mean, the BKB is still at 8 seconds. He's going to be able to deal with a lot. Still won't have an answer to the Aghanim's Death Ward, but I would say at this point it's not his job to worry about that. Try to overgrowth the Death Ward. Don't try to worry about the DP getting a Hex or a Eul's against it. So I like the overall mentality. Octarine is an amazing item on DP and allows them to fight more back-to-back. Right now, she's, I guess, their longest cooldown. Yeah, significantly their longest cooldown. So they are able to accelerate how rapidly these fights play out and maybe take advantage of a daytime where the Night Stalker doesn't have darkness.
All right, here comes Fire. They're smoked up. Demon makes the jump, pops out the Necro Book. They want Slark, but the Tornado will shift them back, and this could release the potential for Slark. He's going to be healing up as he retreats out the south. Whitebeard eats a lot of damage, forced back. The Dazzle has to help him out with the Grave. And now the Witch Doctor ulti going to be committed. No one goes down yet. Dragon Fist, boom, gets popped with the Sunstrike, but it's not going to be too much. He's got living armor. He's got help. He's got friends. Oh, does he have enough, though? Makes it back and away. A jump in from Justin. He tries to slash down the Slark. They get it done. Fire on the comeback now. Justin moves in. They're going to be able to quickly follow it up with a takedown on the Invoker. C4T and company could all be next. Tafo moves in, though. Bursts apart Fluff, but that's all they're going to be able to get. It is Fire who take the lives of 4. Only the Night Stalker is going to be able to make it back home to safety. And now the best believe they're going to be following it up with a Roshan takedown.
3,000 net worth going over to Fire even after the buyback on the Dazzle. Go right into the Roche pit, pushing out all their lanes. I mean, this resets the game in a lot of ways for them. I will stand by my previous statements. No matter how many times this happens, T-Show have the theoretical strategic advantage. But when a Slark dies this quickly in fights, this just means that we are going to be seeing it more difficult for T-Show to form up because the big problem with T-Show's lineup is they don't have a clear initiator. When you pick a Zeus in the off lane and these kinds of heroes as your supports, you won't have that Darkseer, Magnus Blanket, that Tide Hunter to jump in and drop an ultimate. You need to actually commit with a lesser hero, and in this case, a lot of the times it's been the Slark. So if he's just slightly slow on his disengage, if he doesn't have the Dark Pack, the Shadow Dance available at that moment, then he is going to be in for some trouble, and being that focal point of the entire T-Show lineup, he absolutely could be presented with a situation where he just dies without buyback now that he's sitting on only 200 gold.
Not big as a life either. Going down that
he's trying to get Scotty, but
yeah, so early.
That implies that for the next 10 minutes he's going to continue to buy out, and he's never going to have buyback. He can't afford another mistake.
We'll have to see, though. This guy's been pretty generous so far. Well, for now, though, he's not near any sort of trouble up at the top of the map while Fire make their move down south here. They are not going to be blessed with any sort of opportunity. And they'll just follow through all the way up towards the top lane, where there's still a tier 1 with over half of its life still standing here for the side of T-Show. So there's plenty of free gold out there on the map potentially for Fire if they want to be able to take it up. Could be their plan B of this smoke movement, but they'll end up settling it nonetheless. Now that's going to be the Zeus ulti, so they will detect out exactly what's happening here from the side of Fire. But you can obviously feel that T-Show are going to be in a position where they have pumped the brakes a little bit.
I feel at this point you probably go for a Lotus Orb on somebody other than the Slark so that you can put it on the Slark and you can feel more confident jumping in. Because right now it's just like every time it goes in, something bad happens. And I mean, eventually you have to be able to close the game. You have to make that initiation, and it's on the Slark, unfortunately, 9 times out of 10. So there's a lot on his shoulders. Get a Lincoln Sphere, get a Lotus Orb, throw that on him to help him out. And otherwise, yeah, just play it slow until you've got 6 slots essentially for the Slark. You can eat the Moon Shard. You can grab your Scotty, maybe Abyssal, maybe just more defensive items. I mean, as longer he lives, the better off he is against every hero but Ursa. Ursa, obviously, the Fury Swipes will keep stacking, but hey, maybe you get a Silver Edge and deal with it that way. That's still a great item. So, all in all, there's a lot of ways to look at itemization, but right now, I think the problem isn't items for the Slark necessarily. It's just the desire for him to get involved. He's being way too reckless about his involvement, and I would say every time he sees Shadow Dance regen not affecting him because the enemy has vision, that he should just disengage. So he should just run, he should blink, he should TP, he should get out of the fight and reset. Because as long as the game slows down, it's fine. They're not going to... I mean, you have all towers on the top lane are still alive and well.
Yeah.
Your tier 3s aren't going to be ratted out anytime soon by just the Necro 3. Like, you don't lose this game through rats. You lose this game by the Slark dying.
He's getting a Lincoln Sphere, it looks like, here, so taking those extra defensive measures. You know, it doesn't offer a lot as far as the stats go and having the extra life pool, but maybe it'll just be one enough for him to not worry about getting blasted apart, especially with that mighty roar. So here comes Fire once again. Last time there was a bit of a swing and a miss here on trying to get any sort of opportunity here. But Tisho have been playing pretty damn passive, and with the benefit of having this Night Stalker still with Aegis, or still with Agnums rather, still with the gem, they can definitely see trouble when it's coming, and at least deduct what's on there on the map and where possibly Fire could be. And they'll just continue to split out the map everywhere else. Now they smoke. Now they go for a move here. Let's see what kind of best case scenario they can hope for on this one.
Alright, it looks like actually Night Stalker's going to go for the Silver Edge. That could be pretty cool if he can actually get that on the Ursa or on the Death Prophet.
Yeah, like we learned today, Blaze, you know, or, you know, maybe...
Well, some people learned
some
today.
People, I know, I phrased it wrong. What some people have learned today is that, you know, nerfing down all damage from almost all sources. The Shadow Blade.
Some people, the second they see an item like Silver Edge and the test client comes out, they know that within the next day. But other people, it takes a few months.
And if that one person doesn't know, all casters, all hosts, all personnel, no one knows. That's what it is. We have a guild. We all know the same thing, so that's how it works.
Hive mind.
Yes.
The Reddit hive mind and the caster hive mind.
Exactly.
Opposing forces.
Our MMR may not be higher, but nonetheless, we've got the thought. Here is Fire, though. Not too deterred by anything that Tisho have been kind of showing out there just yet, and maybe just Tisho waiting out for that special item. I mean, he's just about got it now. 1,800 gold. Getting that next step could be enough for them here. We'll have to see, though. The slow game does continue.
Shadow Wave.
3,400. Oh, maybe the Demon is going to be... Do you think that's going to invest in finishing out a pipe for his team?
I mean, pipe really is only going to affect what's coming from the Invoker and the Zeus. I feel like the physical damage coming from the Slark and the Witch Doctor is really what you're worried about.
Okay.
He'll go for a gem for now, but I could see Hex. I could see not necessarily a Refresher, because if they go Lotus, Refresher Beastmaster is pretty weak. But do they even have? They have the mech, but no Greaves yet. No, I mean, there's a lot of ways to look at it, but I probably like Assault Karas is more common than anything else.
This is Demon though we're talking about, so we'll have to really wait and see what the hell he's thinking.
Dagon 5.
Normally a pretty innovative guy, but it is his first time playing for this team in a competitive game, so maybe he wants to kind of, you know, keep things more uniform. Notoriously known for his crazy itemizations and heroes like Batrider and stuff. He's been playing a lot of Beastmaster today, and they're hoping to at least walk away out of this first round, but Tisho are not making it easy. Or actually, in this game, it's more Fire or not making it easy for Tisho to close it out. And I guess another argument you can make is that Tisho are making it hard on themselves. Too.
Yeah, I definitely think that argument is present in some capacity, but we'll see. Right now, Slark's got the items he needs. I mean, Lincoln Sphere is a significant upgrade to his survivability, his ability to go in the fights. As far as I know, Spirit Siphon can break it pretty conveniently, but otherwise, you have to commit at least one decent spell against the Slark to actually get the roar on him or something close to that. The Abyssal Blade is up on the Ursa after all. So we'll see exactly what comes of it, but the Night Stalker actually doesn't go for the Silver Edge,
Halberd.
he actually goes for the Halberd, which, strictly speaking, will only help if the Ursa has already used his BKB and only 8 seconds later because of the long duration on it still. So I'm not really a big fan of the Halberd because we do see Justin's BKB is still so prominent, but it's his choice to make, and obviously as the game goes longer, it'll be more helpful. Fluff. Wrong part of the woods,
So
and that should be a pretty easy
He
pick.
just wanted to get some wards down, so he will be the sacrifice for, he's able to get that vision. That's a big
I'm
victory.
surprised that hasn't happened more, to be honest,
Yeah.
dude. Like, that could have happened so many times with the Night Stalker vision advantage, but so far Fire have been playing very cleanly around it.
It's going to be a minute before we get to see Fluff play again, but nonetheless, we don't anticipate T-Show are going to be really pushing at that point. A lot of them huddled around this Roche pit. We're going to find out our secondary timer now. And it's going to be a little long one here, about nearly 2 minutes. Get that bird the hell out of there. He just blasted apart. Got 2 minutes to go before Roche will be up. This could be the last Roche fight. This could be the game changer. We'll just have to see what kind of items we can kind of put together in the meantime to make the most out of that one hurrah. That's like the potential storyline. I don't know. They could end up throwing Blaze. So, we'll see.
Yeah, well, I don't know. At this point, if they keep on stacking Lincolns and Lotuses and the Slark, again, gets 6 slotted, then he should be good. Butterfly would be great for him next. Overall, saving buyback, I think, is the priority for him, though, so we might be in for a bit of a long one.
We'll see here. Got 10 minutes before our next series starts, so they better hurry up now.
Chop, chop. Okay.
All right, let's see here. The ping is out. They're going to start making their way towards the Roche. We check over the vision for T-Show. It's daytime now. Not anymore. Okay, so now he'll have the extra bit of vision. They know that Fire missing off the map. They want to see what's happening here. And as they head that way, they will see that no one is around. It's actually Fire all the way back at their front gate. They see the darkness come out, and they're nervous that T-Show are kind of looking to pull a fast one here. Demon knows, though, with this bird that they're... Oh, never mind. Bird goes down, but he knew that they're not doing the Roche yet. It is nice to have that Beastmaster on your team when you're going against so much map control against you. At least you get a little bit of hope to help out.
Alright, so I think they should probably go for a smoke play pretty soon on the side of the Radiant. They do have one in bank right now, so I think that that's going to be the play here. I mean, obviously they have the vision, so maybe they smoke out of the Roche pit. They don't have to smoke into it, but I do feel like at some point you just want to get in there really close, and when they go for the smoke, you do the same. But we will see them coming out right now. They've already pushed out mid lane. Roche is respawning at the perfect time, and it's daytime. The Night Stalker made one actually pretty significant error in the fact that he darknessed when there was no nighttime involved. It was actually the first half a day when he actually used the darkness, and now, although they'll scout what's going on in the pit, they will have a hard time contesting it without the Night Stalker ultimate. It's coming back up in just a few seconds, but those few seconds is enough time for Fire to jump back in, and they had to be afraid of worrying about a smoke from the wrong angle.
Exorcism out. They got the Zeus ulti there. Oh, he wants to go in, but it's going to be too late. No void, but look at the high ground Death Ward coming out. It's nice, but there was no coconut. BKBs are going to be popped out as a response from Fire, and now they're looking to make their counter move. Can they do it with the benefit of the Aegis now? There is going to be the Abyssal to lock down the Slark. Can they right-click him apart? Overgrowth is there. It helps lock him down, but Slark's able to hop away from trouble and makes his move for Whitebeard and will be able to slash him down. Now they pull back off. Can they reposition here with the one-man advantage right now? It looks like they may. Waiting out the rest of the Exorcism. They get the Aegis down. Now they look for Fluff. The Dazzle's going to be taken out. It looks like it's going to be T-Show's fight. Slark move in. They're going to get Dragon Fist on top of it. ZS with the double. They even scout out Demon on the high ground with the tornado. But they're also making moves for Justin. Another big target here and grabbing a hold of the Ursa. It looks like Slark will be able to get the last laugh in this one as they do finish him off. All but Demon will go down here. It's a huge fight for T-Show, and a buyback will now be forced out from Dragon Fist.
Yeah, I mean, that was a tremendous fight from T-Show. They fought through Aegis, they fought through Cheese. It didn't seem to matter because they were able to keep the Slark alive long enough. And the Slark actually got hit, after he Dark Packed the Roar, he got hit by an Abyssal and nearly went down in that Abyssal, but a great Meteor definitely blast from the Invoker, doing a lot of damage, and more importantly, making sure that the Slark lived long enough to get the Shadow Dance off. So they're resetting his health bar and coming back in swinging. He was so damn low. Like, the Treant was the fat man in the elevators blocking the door, wouldn't let him up that narrow one-lane step, and he still just goes in, resets, and Fire now buying back from the Death Prophet only to just now get her Exorcism off as they have to make their stand without the Ursa.
And T-Show on the verge of taking off a big win for them. And Fire, their journey with their new roster could be coming to a close here in BTS Americas just as fast as it started in round number 1. One more Rax is all it takes here. Slark with the ridiculous attack speed and damage shutting down this Rax, but not looking to overcommit quite yet. Slip back in, get the extra gold from the Necro book, but the base is just a hot mess now for Fire. It is leaving him with very few outs. It's 20k plus of a net worth advantage, the same for XP for T-Show. Hail Mary play going to have to be coming out here from Fire if they want to dream of moving on the next round. T-Show, just patience and following through, and they should secure their win.
Absolutely. So, I mean, QS, how throwy does he feel? But it looks like he might just be able to find like clean pickoffs. I guess Fire's best play at this point is actually try to bait a mistake. Just wait until a couple heroes show somewhere else, and then just dangle a worm on a hook for the Slark.
Yeah, take advantage of him and his aggressive behaviors here. And they draw him out with, oh my god, my support's so weak, so wounded, out in front of the base. Hope to god a Slark didn't jump into the fountain to get it. I don't know though. It looks like they've kept him in order at this point, and they are just going to slowly make sure all 3 lanes are pushing in, forcing Fire to be spread apart, and then one quick move in, they could burst out this Death Prophet, let's say, and it could be over in an instant. We'll see what Fire can do to hold. Their high ground defense is, you know, not the best thing ever, but they're doing what they can with at least their spam of the creep waves to kind of keep these pushes back in at bay.
All right, so the Invoker right now running both Orchid, BKB, and a Refresher Orb. He's got a lot of spells to throw out here. Going to Electro the Slark, and he's going to go in here, just trying to bring down the Death Prophet early, but he's got the cheese, so Death Prophet will just kind of let that disengage happen. They'll roar the Slark, but I'm not sure if they can burst him down fast enough.
No, they cannot. He'll only lose about half of his lights, eat some last little tickles of the Exorcism, but we'll be able to pull back into the base here, and that is it. That is a pretty big trump card already being shown from Fire, committing the Roar and the Exorcism. I mean, simply T-Show step back, take a moment to regroup, go back in and get the job done.
Yep, I mean, the Beastmaster Roar is on a short cooldown thanks to that Aghanim Scepter, but Dragon Fist's Exorcism is a massive cooldown, even with the 25% reduction of the Octarine core. This means that right here, right now, it should be the last stand, the last push necessary to take the barracks down. They do have Living Armor healing up the range racks, as well as the Fortification to help Fire, but blinking it from Slark, he's going to try to finish it out here.
Ooh, and it could be on Demon. He's got the Roar up. The Dazzle Grave could just barely keep him alive. He needs to turn back and get it out while he can, but the Lincolns will easily shrug it off. They step back and out, and now they make their move. Justin gets the quick catch. Nicely done to take out the Invoker here. Is it going to be enough? Follow-up from Whitebeard. Gets off a nice overgrowth. Slark's going to be forced to pounce back and away from trouble, but now they set their sights for Justin here. Slark goes and just shreds them down, and that is it. Justin's going to be out for 80 seconds, and T-Show might have just pulled out a big one here and taking down Team Fire. They're going to finish it off with taking out the Dragon Fist. That's Death Prophet out, Ursa out. It looks like they've done it, Blaze, and they will be the first team to move into the second round.
Absolutely. Obviously, a bit of a disappointment for those fans of the Archon roster, but changes had to be made when Jo left, and changes have been made. We're going to be seeing the Archon Fire split be something that a lot of these teams look back on, either very favorably or very unfavorably. Well, remains to be seen. For now, their debut is a bit depressing, as we do see Fire eliminated in round 1 of the single elimination tournament.
Crazy stuff indeed. What a way to start out our BTS Americas 4. But we're not going to be done yet. Definitely will applaud T-Show for a huge performance by them. And as they move on and get themselves secured into the second round, we bid adieu to Fire. It was nice seeing your new roster, but maybe with a little bit more time and practice, they'll definitely fire back into their next tournament appearance, I'm sure. But in the meantime, we'll cut to a very small break. Unfortunately for us, it looks like we have about 3 minutes until it's go time for our next best of 3. Coming up next, it's going to be Animal Kingdom versus Evernova. We'll see you soon for that one.